All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Star Station, cross positions. Millenium has finally had to break out 4GG because Tasia has no interest in continuing a dance with Daishi. He is in the purple trunks for some reason. Yeah, that's not going to make things difficult. Oh, God. The funny thing about the Koreans is they just completely ignore any request to pick a different color. They're just like, I just want to play whatever color I want to play, and there's nothing you can do about it. Anyway, yes, 4GG. He is in the purple trunks, and he is playing Terran to the northwest. We are no longer restreaming. So those of you confused, I'm not really sure why. I did explain it. You now have game sound back. Isn't it wonderful? Unfortunately, Heart of the Swarm is not that reliable, and it fatal errored out. So I had no choice but to restream, take stream. And gas being taken here by Tasia, who is, of course, in the red trunks, playing Terran to the southeast. He's put one on the board for Team Liquid, but he still has ways to go. Wants to try and equalize against 4GG. Refinery being taken very early on here by Tasia, about 12 supply. No refinery being taken by 4GG. However, there is now a build in TBT, as you may have noticed last match, where you take a slightly later gas at 15. Basically, if you intend to play defensively against a potential Reaper attack or something really, really early, there's nothing wrong with taking it a little bit later. It also allows you to build up a nice bank of minerals. Means you get just a little bit more income and you get that lead. You're allowed to put down your command center a little bit earlier, which is always an edge in this particular matchup. GG. 4GG, in fact, gets the scout. Currently gas coming in by Tasia. He looks like he's going to go straight to factory here. I can't see any reason for him to gather 100 gas. There it is. So straight into factory. What is he going to do with that? We will find out shortly. Tasia was able to get the scout. 4GG stepping like a boss right now, scaring him away. Oh, wow. He almost went back in there, actually, but I think he was a little bit too early with it. 4GG turned around and then realized what was going on. Would have been nice if we'd been able to intercept that SCV and get the last drill stab, but it didn't happen. 4GG going reactor straight on his barracks here. So his production is going to be ramped up quite nicely early on here for Marines, but he does have this gap where he isn't able to build anything. Since he knows what his opponent is building, that's not actually a big deal. Nicely enough, that reactor and the factory was not scouted there by Tasia, so he's not going to be too happy about that. Initially, a Widowmine coming out immediately here by Tasia. We might just see a very early Widowmine drop play, since the starport is coming down immediately. There are no add-ons being put in here. Marine Widowmine is also a fairly effective harassment composition, so you can fill a medevac with Marines and a couple of Widowmines, and then you can drop them on top of them. You'll notice that Tasia is currently up to 5 Marines. So you can take like 4 Marines and then throw 2 Widowmines in there. So that works pretty well. Alternatively, you can do an elevation play as well from here. And then you can just elevate the stuff into the base around this area. The problem with Star Station is that this area here is hard to keep an eye on, so you can sneak a lot of stuff in there. Tasia, however, right now anyway, is playing defensively with this, which is fine. He may only elect to use a single Widowmine, maybe use 6 Marines in the drop. It's almost certain that he's going to drop because this medevac is far too early for it to be anything else. And also notice the rally points here. So he will drop with something. The question is, does he include the Widowmine in the drop, or does he use the Widowmine as a defense? We will find out. There we go. 4 Marines and then 2 Widowmines in this harassment drop here. How prepared is 4GG for this? He isn't. It's really as simple as that. A drop from this angle that came all the way around here and approach from this position is going to be pretty hard to spot. 4GG doesn't have any early warning here, like say a supply depot placed there, or even a single Marine, so this could hurt a lot. We'll find out very shortly. He's actually going to go for the natural here, interestingly enough. A couple of Hellions moving into position, so they're going to say, huh, alright, where is your command center? It's a little bit late, isn't it? Why would your command center be this late? You're planning on doing something, aren't you? Dropping here, I mean, you can throw a Widowmine there. There's just kind of no point in doing it. Will 4GG actually spot that on the map? Yes, he does. He's immediately going for the interception. Tasia drops the Widowmine down, but it gets killed immediately, so that wasn't exactly great. And 4GG actually picking up his own Marines to drop them down immediately. Widowmine has been deployed. Question is, what is it going to hit? A single Marine, so not all that effective whatsoever. 4GG just wrecked that drop completely. That did not work at all. I'm actually kind of surprised that Tasia went for the natural. I'm really surprised that he did, because there's not really a lot of damage potential there. Maybe you get a Widowmine down there, but at worst, that forces a scan. If you drop into the main base, you could gut the mineral line. But he chose not to do that, and I don't feel that was the best option. But, of course, you know, we're watching from a God's Eye perspective, so we can criticize all we damn well please. That's not the information that Tasia had, and that's not what he based his decision on, so there you go. And now the counterattack comes in. There's a lot of Hellions here. A lot of Hellions. Huge amount. Ridiculous number. Bunker is about to complete, but the Hellions can just run right by it. So this is the kind of situation where I would think... okay. I would have just run right past it. I guess it's a bit of a risk not knowing what's there. But in the meantime, 4GG actually drops behind the mineral line. Tries to do some damage here as well. He's able to do a little bit here and there. Loses his medevac in the process, but Tasia, of course, will be able to deal with that. Hellions make their run by. Don't make their way to the mineral line. Tasia's defending against this very, very nicely, in fact. Now they're making their way to the mineral line. I'm just surprised that 4GG wasn't able to do more damage with this. And he gets trapped. Nice SimCity here by Tasia. Look at the positioning. Nice surround and completely wrecks that. Overall, only 5 workers killed. That should have done so much more damage than it did. So, Tasia defended that one beautifully. Excellent use of his own buildings behind there to deal with it. Like that an awful lot. Tasia now in a good defensive spot, and in terms of his worker line, however, even though he didn't lose a lot, he's still very much behind, because the early attack that he went for, this little 1-1-1 into the Marine Widowmine drop, didn't do anything, and it also delayed the command center. So, SCV-wise, Daishi has been building Millenium 4GG has been building SCVs for ages. And he doesn't really care about what's going on right now over there because he has that economic lead. Armory coming up here for 4GG and a second factory being added in. Oh, never mind. 3 more factories. So, pure mech composition coming in here. Tasia, on the other hand, actually building bio. He is getting bio upgrades as well. Going Marine Marauder Medevac. Another command center coming down here as well. So, we will be seeing upgrades coming in very shortly. 4GG may also, of course, choose to build Hellbats, which is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. Marauder, actually it is a Marauder heavy composition here. It's 8 to 14. A lot of Marauders coming in, which will work just fine against these Hellions. So Tasia is able to push Daishi all the way... God damn it! 4GG all the way back here. Raven on the field here for 4GG as well. Always good to know, considering the Cloak Banshees were used to great effect last time. And the point defense drone is going to be extremely effective against this Marauder heavy composition. Question is, can he even defend against this push? Tasia goes right in. Wants to try and take out that natural expansion. He's going to do a lot of damage here. I mean, he's doing significant damage even to the worker line alone. Up comes the deployment. There's the PDD in position. Tasia forced backwards. Down goes the medevac as well. And this is going to be a complete cleanup, I think. 6 workers killed here by Tasia. Not the best attack in the world, certainly. It was just a tribute. It did a little bit of damage, but probably nowhere near as much as Tasia was hoping for. Did some damage to the orbital. It would have been wonderful if he was able to kill it, but 4GG defends aptly there without too much of a problem. And now we're going to see this big mech composition versus bio here for Tasia, who is adding on an armory and a second engineering base, so he's looking to go upgrade heavy with this bio. Bio versus mech. In HOTS, I don't actually get to see that all that often, so that's pretty fun. We'll see how this one works out. The funny thing about bio versus mech is that in this position, you'd obviously see the bio player doing a lot of drop harass, but in reality, with Hellbats in TBT, you'll actually see the mech player doing quite a bit of it. So we will see. Third command center is now down for 4GG. Third command center is moving into position here for Tasia. Worker count is fairly equal. Army supply, as you can see, is in favor of 4GG, and he's in a good defensive position. Tasia posturing on the map here. He can't really attack that third base, I feel. In fact, he's going to have difficulty attacking anything. This defensive position is very, very strong here from 4GG, which makes me think that he'll want to start to drop instead. It makes more sense than engaging directly against a siege tank line. Catches a Hellion out of position. Just a little win there. Always good. Funnily enough, 4GG is already prepared for this. There is one other route he can take. If he actually goes all the way around here, there are no Vikings and no floating scouting barracks to defend against it. But if it comes around the back, he's going to get intercepted and destroyed. 4GG looks for the flank and the run-by here. This is a wall-off, however, so he's not going to be getting too much out of this. Unless, of course, Tasia leaves the door open, which he might. Tasia now pushing forward. The last thing he wants to do is engage here. I don't see a scenario where that works, ever. 4GG with his Infernal Pre-Igniter gets prematurely roasted by those Marauders without too much of a problem there. There's the scan. Tasia moves forward straight into a siege tank line. Just losing a couple of Hellions here and there. 4GG is not too worried about that. That's fine. On 3 bases, he can afford to replace that. No big deal. All is fine. Question is, does Tasia try and drop here? Neither of these guys looking for big harassment right now. 4th base coming down for Tasia as well. Mech composition has started to roll out in a big way. A lot of Blue Flame Hellions with a +1 upgrade. Yeah, I mean, they don't kill Marauders all that fast, but there's still about 5,000 Hellions. So that is still pretty good. Tasia currently entering the danger zone right now as Millenium's 4GG goes right into a Siege Tank and Marauder line. Backing off, needs to bring his own Siege Tanks in here. 11 Siege Tanks to 2. If 4GG gets position here, I don't see Tasia being able to break that. We're about to find out if he can actually make that happen. 4GG engages with his Hellions. Nice use of the PDD to absorb some of those Marauder shots. Now the tanks are in position. Is there enough beef at the front? There might not be. Tasia is able to do significant damage to the Siege Tank line. He's finally thrown back, but he does kill a good number of Siege Tanks. He killed about 5 there. More reinforcements coming in here for 4GG, who's going to actually need to bring Hellions in at the front in order to hold on here. What's nice for 4GG is that he also has his air advantage, so he's going to be able to gain that scouting information. He's going to be able to spot for his Siege Tanks. That 4th base is not going to finish by the looks of it, and he's going to kill medevacs, which is beautiful. There's the cancellation here, and the contain is now in place. 4GG now reinforcing and also bringing his own Banshees into play, which is great if he wants to try and pick off these Siege Tanks, which he so dearly does. In the meantime, what is Tasia doing? What can he do? He's defending as best he can. He is way behind in supply right now. He has taken economic damage by losing that potential 4th base. Not a lot of workers killed in this game, but he is denied from expanding, whereas his opponent can do that freely. And Tasia is not in a position to drop. He actually has no medevacs, which makes playing bio very difficult. Just want to point that out. I mean, why would you build medevacs right now? 4GG has this big air advantage. He's got 5 Vikings and you've got none whatsoever. So what do? You have to wait for a mistake by 4GG. You have to get some Thor support on the ground maybe, but it's transitioning into Thors from bio, so awkward. And now Tasia is trying his best to defend this 3rd base. His opponent, however, has a Siege Tank advantage, 13-7. He also has an air advantage. He has a position advantage. So can Tasia actually break the contain? That's the question. Like this, Sensor Tower being deployed, so important against a big Siege Tank contain, very important. However, 4GG has a sneaky plan. Unfortunately, he is going to run into a wall off here. He wants to do a Hellion run by. Banshee now being moved in, actually forcing those Marines and Marauders into position. Once again, the PDD is contributing, and that was the attack. Millenium 4GG guts the 3rd base. But can Tasia actually break the contain in the process? I think he can. He's got the numbers. Those Marauders do a fine, fine job. Hasn't completely broken it, but he did a lot of damage there. Here's the thing. How much damage was taken? The 3rd base was gutted here. Tasia took a lot of damage there. 22 workers killed. Those Blue Flame Hellions did a fantastic job of striking just at the right moment as the Siege Tank line rolled out. So, he broke his contain, but he also lost a lot in the process. So, let's see if Tasia can recover from that. He still is only on 3 bases, but he has mined out his main mineral line, so he can saturate that 3rd base with his remaining SCVs. However, 4th and 5th bases being taken here by 4GG. Can 4GG hold that many bases against Tasia? Will Tasia actually be able to start harassing again? Now that the Vikings have been driven away and a lot of them killed, he is in a position where he can start to drop. Now he's got to play catch-up. He must eliminate the economic advantage of his opponent, and in the process, he must also not dedicate too much to that harassment, because if he does, a big, giant mech ball falls on his face. Not ideal. Upgrades-wise, Tasia's actually in a good spot. He just finished +3, which is going to be incredibly helpful. He also has +2 armor. Now, if you compare that to 4GG, who is on 2-0 mech, pretty good. I mean, Tasia's looking for 2-0 mech of his own and has 3-2 bio. It's actually outlandishly crazy. The upgrades he's got are amazing here, but he is still behind. 4GG has about maxed out here. He's taken another base, and he realizes, oh, you're probably going to take another base right now? You're going to take your 4th? I'm going to stop you from doing that. I don't want you taking the 4th. Hellions move in to engage here. I say not that well upgraded, but there are easily enough to do the damage necessary here. And now this base must be defended here by Tasia. If he holds this, and if he maintains his upgrade advantage, is able to strike back, then he might be in a great spot. Drop play coming in. 4GG does have a planetary. So that is going to help him significantly here, even though it is a double drop with 3-2 upgrades. In comes 4GG and actually comes around the side here before the siege tanks are deployed. And Tasia with the salvo coming on. 4GG just trying to smash his way through, getting in nice and close here. This drop kills it. Tasia GG's, and 4GG manages to put another on the board here for Millenium. That was a masterful performance from 4GG, I've got to say. So well played mech-wise. And I think it all started from Tasia's failed initial early aggression on one base. If that had actually hit the main and not the natural, I think that could have done so much. It could have put Tasia in a great spot. But as it stood, it allowed the mech player to get ahead economically, and as a result, 4GG, with several excellent attacks, was able to take Tasia to pieces. Nicely played. That was a really cool game. I enjoyed that a lot. Let's see who's coming up next. I mean, surely you've got to send out either Hero or Snoot at this point. We'll find out after the break. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to interrupt this smooth jazz, but we've got a smooth game coming for you right here on Belshia Vestige. I think you might like it. Yes, I really, really do. So, let me just set it up and we will be in the game momentarily. Thank you very much. Hopefully gonna be a good one. I don't see how it couldn't be. It should be absolutely phenomenal. I'm just making sure that the scoreboard is set up properly, and then we will get right into it. Sweet. Okay. Cool. I think we're about ready to roll. Alright. Well, I think you can probably guess who they brought out. Yes, indeed, it is Liquid Hero. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the northwest of Belshia Vestige here for Team Liquid, who are currently down 2 maps versus his opponent. It's Millenium's 4GG. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Terran to the southeast. And I guess we're rehosting. Yeah, we actually lost 3 casters apparently dropping. This does happen from time to time in HOTS, unfortunately. Basically, there's like an error out where people fail to load into the game, and then you lose everything. So, hey, I guess we have a little bit more time. Alright, we'll be setting up the game once again very shortly. As I said, sorry about that, but we did lose 3 casters, so it's definitely very unfair to our foreign language audience if we don't have access to that. Okay. Alright. This should hopefully be a fairly quick re-invite to this particular game. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to change their colors and they're going to change their position. I'm going to have to screw with my scoreboard again. As I said, I am convinced that it is a secret Korean plot. I need to, like, every time I ask Axiom about it, they're deliberately evasive. I am convinced this has got something to do with them. They change their colors all the time to annoy the casters. They do it consistently. I swear. I knew it! I knew it! He's done it! He's changed his color! Hero's blue now! I hate you! Oh. God damn it. Alright. Bloody hell. Always the Koreans. Always. If they've changed again while I was alt-tabbed, thank God. Why? Alright, let's try again, shall we? Belshia Vestige it shall be. From the shadows I come. What do we have? Alright. And because Blizzard is incapable of consistency, I'm having to swap them over so it indicates the right place on the map. I wish there was an easier way to do this, but there isn't. Okay, cool. We are in-game and ready to rock and roll. So, having swapped position and color with his opponent, it is Millenium's 4GG. He is in the red trunks. He is playing Terran to the northwest here of Belshia Vestige. Versus his opponent, it is Liquid Hero. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the southeast. Okay. Well, Hero was the logical choice to send out after Tasia. Apparently, 4GG's pretty good at TBT, it turns out. Is he any good at PBT? Well, we will find out. Is he any good against Liquid Hero, more to the point, who is known for carrying the team when Tasia is incapable of doing so? There was a joke about Team Tasia for a while, but he has unfortunately been playing a little bit worse lately, and that is mostly due to his wrist injuries. I believe, has he had surgery yet? I can't recall if he's had it or not, but one way or the other, Tasia has been suffering as a result. Didn't stop him from getting to the round of 4 frickin' GSL, but yeah, he's been suffering. That guy is so hardcore dedicated to this game. I have nothing but respect for him. But now it's Hero, who has these flashes of brilliance, who is a great player, and then occasionally does something really silly. It's mostly when he goes on tilt. When he lets his nerves get the better of him, things tend to go really wrong for Liquid Hero. When he's actually confident, he is nigh on unstoppable, and in my opinion, could beat anybody in the world. So, let's see how it turns out. Scout coming out right here. This is actually our first PvT of the day. Always nice to see one. Actually, is this our first Protoss of the day? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Been seeing a lot of Zerg, a lot of Terran. No Protoss as of yet. This one finally now being broken out here for Millenium. Against Millenium, in fact. I have a little poke at that supply depot, forcing a second SCV to be pulled off the line to fix it. He's not going to be getting in there anytime soon. Now the question is, what is this hiding? That's what Hero is wondering right now. It's like, what are you hiding? Why did you wall off so quickly? It's a 2-player map. You walled off really fast there. What are you doing? What are you up to? And right now, 4GG's not really up to anything. He's got gas down, but that could be, I mean, that could mean anything at this stage. Absolutely anything. It's unlikely to be a Reaper right now, considering he's building up a lot of money, so I imagine he's just going to expand and then put a factory down. Or he may put the factory down, then expand. That's a possibility. He's going to do it on the low ground. Ooh, a little lag spike there. Going straight through to the reactor here. So he's not going to be putting a factory down anytime soon. He's sunk 50 gas into that, so we should see a CC coming down here from 4GG right nearby. Not going to put it on the low ground. A little bit too risky against Protoss right now, at least, especially with Hero playing the way that he is. He's currently not gone for the Nexus. He's gone Gateway, and he's gone Cybercore and straight into Warpgate, and is now taking a second gas, and he's doing all of this before expanding, so we'll see what he decides to do with that. Could, of course, go for the very early Stargate play. Seems pretty popular in this matchup. Oracles and Phoenix both work pretty well here. Phoenix is more of a defensive measure against potential Widowmine and Hellbat drops, whereas you have the option of the Oracle if you want to really gut a mineral line. Factory coming down here for 4GG as well. Keeping an eye out for potential proxies here. 4GG does have this probe. He's not going to proxy there. I mean, he could proxy a pylon, but that would be about it. Mostly because you just don't proxy a Stargate in your opponent's natural unless you're playing Bronze League or Fun Day Monday. Mothership Core now moving around the side here. Moving into position. Widowmine now being deployed here for 4GG. Also adding on a starport. Marines moving forward. They're going to catch that Stalker, and Hero does need to get out of there before he takes any hull damage, and he is able to do just that. There's a little bit of a tickle coming on here. Zealot now moving into position to try and engage as well, is able to get a slice off. Unfortunately, Hero loses his Stalker as well, and 4GG is able to gun down that Zealot with great vengeance and furious anger for poisoning its brothers. And now Hero is having to move back with this Mothership Core. Thankfully, 4GG did not spot it, otherwise that Mothership Core may very well die, which would be absolutely awful. It's like 4GG would be forced to recall that... Not 4GG. Hero would be forced to recall that one Mothership Core. Hero is now expanding, and he's added a Robo in as well, so he's playing a pretty safe build. He's not going for... Some call Stargate play gimmicky. I don't agree with that. I think it's a great play. It's got a lot of flexibility as well. You don't have to dedicate to one specific kind of Stargate play. You can utilize all sorts of things. If Oracles don't work, you can use Phoenix. You can then use Void Rays, which work absolutely fine in this matchup as well. 4GG is now borrowing a couple of Widowmines just in defensive positions. Belshir Vestige is a nice place to engage with Widowmines, I found. This area right here is an absolute nightmare to fight in. And every now and again, you have to actually fight there. And you end up running into Widowmines consistently. Widowmine drop on the way here. Now, smart play by Hero. Very smart play by Hero to go with that Robo first, then build 2 Observers and put 1 over his main mineral line, knowing that Widowmine drop is a big risk. So he has done absolutely the right thing here. It may still not stop any damage. It really depends on how quickly he can actually react to it. Mothership core now moving into position. He knows, man. He knows. There's no question. Hero is well aware of what's coming in. Cannon activated immediately right there. And it's going to kill one Widow Mine. Another one's going to detonate and kill one probe. So, yeah, that drop wasn't worth it at all. And that medevac's dead. Shut down hard is what Hero just did there. That was phenomenal defense. Really, really great. He knew what was coming. I believe he saw it, actually. I think that probe may have seen it go across. One way or the other, he knew what was coming. He moved to intercept it. He shut it down. He lost one probe, killed two Widow Mines in the medevac. Which is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. He didn't even expend any units. He only used energy, which is absolutely fine. And 4GG's not in any position to attack now because he doesn't have stim, he doesn't have combat shield or +1. So he's just going to keep building units because he needs to be in a position where he can respond to a potential counter-attack here. Now, we're going to see some medevacs coming out from this position as he tries to build Bioforce. In the meantime, his opponent's like, alright, cool, go on Colossus then. Works for me. Your Widow Mine drop failed quite nicely. I am not so much ahead. He's ahead tech-wise, I would say, and certainly in terms of his actual gas income. Worker-wise, pretty equal, and obviously you've got to take meals into account as well, but we've got an army starting to build for Hero. Admittedly, he is up against a lot of Marines. 4GG looks to be trying to attack with, I assume it's combat shield timing. This would be the weirdest stim timing in history. I mean, obviously these Marines take a while to get across the map, but not 70 seconds. So, I think 4GG just wants to poke a little bit here. Maybe do some damage. I don't see him doing a lot. He's most likely going to get trapped here by time warps and force fields. Unless he just wants to hang around. I mean, you'd think maybe it would be a fake for something, and he's dropping in elsewhere, but he's not. Force fields placed down. 3 force fields to kill 3 Marines. Not exactly ideal, but at the end of the day, it does keep the Marines away from the Nexus. Photon overcharge has been used. It's almost like 4GG actually wanted that to happen. He wanted to bait that out, and then he wanted to attack somewhere else. Proxy Pylon has snuck its way up to the side here. I like that. Especially since 4GG is looking to take a third, which he could take it here, or he could take it there. I would imagine he'd take it here because of the risk of proxies, but you never know. I mean, this is also a good place to take it. It's actually a more logical place to take it, because this area right there leads down to a ramp here. So it's a little bit closer. 4GG now has his stim and combat shield available, so will we see him start to drop? Well, Hero's actually already moving into an engagement position, and 4GG meets the Wrath of the Colossus. No extended thermal lance available yet. In fact, he's not even researching it right now, but it's more than enough to clean up those Marines and push them all the way back. I have to wonder if Hero's going to plan on taking a third here. 4GG has a single Marine in position to make that a little bit tricky. Also to scout that position, that's always nice. Army supply still in favor of 4GG, but he doesn't really have a good answer to this Colossus yet. He's going to need to get some Vikings on the field, which is what he's doing. He's also putting some Hellbats in the mix, which I do very much like if Hero uses a Zealot heavy composition. That's a nice piece of meat at the front that does a huge amount of damage to Zealots. Always good to see. No Widow Mines on the field here for 4GG either, which is kind of surprising. A few more gateways being added on for Hero. I wonder when this push is actually going to come. This attempted expansion is certainly not going to happen now. It's going to get picked off. He's going to place a pylon, and then he'll be able to take it. Colossus will clean that up. Still, it even reveals a nice piece of information, though. Extended Thermal Lance is not done yet. It's not going to be done for another almost 2 minutes. I don't know if 4GG's in a position to actually attack, especially considering he's going up against an upgrade heavy Protoss. That's one of the real edges that his opponent has right now. 2-2 is about to finish for Hero. He went very early double Forge, whereas 2-1 is sort of halfway done for 4GG here. Has he got the gas to immediately start 3? He actually does, but he decides to build Zealot Leg Charge instead, so I guess that makes sense too. Still, 4GG has a big scary army. Very big scary army, in fact. His macro has been impeccable. And also bear in mind that no harassment has occurred on 4GG, which has allowed him to get up to a healthy number of 56 workers, as well as 2 meals and 3 bases. Third base is now being taken by Hero, and his big push is coming in. Are there enough Vikings to deal with 2 Colossi? There are. An extended thermal lance is not done yet. This actually could be huge. If 4GG hits within the next 30 seconds, this is going to really suck for Hero. Blink Stalkers come in. Take down 1. Take it down 2. And a third Viking. This is a wonderful move here by Hero. It may very well be exactly what he needs to survive this. He does not have extended thermal lance. Hero missed microing, I think, there. Moving 1 Colossus into position. 4GG still has a lot of firepower available here. Extended Thermal Lance is still not done. Mothership Core goes down as well. No Photon Overcharge for you. No Time Warps for you. 4GG actually, though, I think is going to back off. Kind of a surprising move. I think he could have continued to hammer down on that. He's able to stim forward, take down one Stalker there. He still has a significant army supply advantage, but Extended Thermal Lance is now done, so it's still a difficult defensive position. Even then, though, only 2 sentries and a brand new Mothership Core without all that much energy. He could attack there, or he can swing around and take the third out, which I would recommend that he does. In the meantime, standard Protoss strategy against this kind of aggression is to do Zealot run-bys, and that's exactly what's happening. Into the third base, Terran just love to build an orbital there instead of a planetary, and as a result, they tend to be vulnerable to that kind of thing. Great target fire here down on the Vikings. These Colossi are going to be living for quite some time, I think, before GG immediately turns around and swings for this Nexus. It's most likely going to die at this stage. Some damage done by the Zealot run-bys, but not a lot. Only a couple of workers killed, cleaned up quite nicely, and that Nexus is DEAD. Charging Zealots meet the wrath of the Hellbats, thinking, oh, you know what? This was probably not the day to have a little bit of jogging practice. Hero looking for the cleanup right there is the Time Warp, but not really able to capitalize on it. The Sentry Force Field missing. Doing a little bit of damage to that army, pushing it back, but not really doing much else. It can't really pursue at this stage. Army supply is starting to catch up here for Hero, but he hasn't done the economic damage he needs, and Hero has lost his third base. 4GG, on the other hand, is not. Hellbats are now in position to deal with the Zealot run-by, so he doesn't really have to worry too much about that. Admittedly, that brave Zealot just chops his way right through. Upgrade advantage in effect right here. That's helping out a lot, so a couple more SCVs get taken down. However, we're seeing no sign of +3/+3 coming in here from Hero. He doesn't have the gas for it. He's trying to build those big gas-heavy units, and with only 2 bases, he can't afford to also get the upgrades. So that's the position he's currently in. That means that 4GG is actually going to take an upgrade lead very shortly. Once he's got +3 infantry weapons and +2 armor up, as well as his +2 vehicle and ship plating, he is going to be in a great spot. Hero is unable to harass right now. This is kind of the time where you'd expect Hero to start breaking out the Warp Prisms, but at the end of the day, he only has 1 Robo, and his constant Colossus production is preventing him from building a Warp Prism. So unless he builds a second Robo, which you generally don't do on 2 bases, then he's going to be in a pretty ugly spot. Yet again, a great snipe on those Vikings there by Hero. This is a massively Marauder-heavy composition, though. This is messy, but it also has Hellbats in it, which means that it's going to deal really well with Zealots. Big drop coming in from 4GG. 3 medevacs worth is actually going to pass right over that pylon, which is a great amount of information for Hero. But where does he dedicate his attack to? This is 2-pronged, and 4GG has a big army. Oh, nice sniping of the Mothership Core there. There will not be any Time Warps for you. Big drop into the center of the base as 4GG takes Liquid Hero to task here. And he's going to kill a lot of production. Oh, wow, that's the Robo down. No more Colossus. Supply block right here for Hero as well. A running battle going on over in the corner there. I'm going to focus on this for the time being unless 4GG decides to engage, and he's stimming back as much as he can, just trying to pick off as many units as possible. This drop is huge, though. It's massive. It's killed so much tech already. The Templar Archives are going to die here as well. And right now it looks like Hero's actually going to try and engage into a base trade situation, but he's already lost so many units in the charge. And 4GG is in a position where he can reinforce. The nearest proxy pylon is halfway across the map here for Hero. Will these Colossi be enough to actually make this happen? If it is, this will be one of the best counter pushes I've ever seen from Protoss. You know, he's doing it. He is freaking doing it right now. If you can somehow believe this. With all the Vikings sniped off, even after taking all the damage to the Zealots, Hero's control enables him to smash the front right now and put him in this awkward base trade situation. Units now moving in here for 4GG. He has cleaned out the main. He is cleaning out the natural right now. Can Liquid Hero break this position? He's going to just take the third out by the looks of it. Zealots and cannons now in position for Hero, trying to defend his base. When behind, go DT. Exactly what he's doing right now. This mineral line is going to get obliterated. However, it's only a matter of time, surely, until 4GG can mass a big enough force to kill those Colossus. Liquid Hero very much behind right now, but secures his third base and is now building gateways and bringing up gas. Mining, actually very little. There we go. Now finally mining in full. He can reestablish this Nexus here, but is it really worth it? It's probably best that he tries to defend one position. I still say Liquid Hero is significantly far behind. He takes out the third. He guts it quite effectively, but he is still only on 1 base. 4GG is about to mine out his natural, so that's at least a bit of an edge, but he is up against it. 4GG with 83 supply to 48. I feel this may only be a matter of time for Hero. That was a brave counter push. It was a dangerous one, too. 4GG, unfortunately, is now able to deploy here and start to mine from this base. What can Hero do? DTs is his answer here. It's a clutch move. It may work. Just doing damage here is so important. Anything he can do. There's the scan. That DT is not going to do a thing. This DT, on the other hand, is going to do some damage. Takes out a mule and a couple of SCVs. It could actually focus on the orbital command, which would be quite nice. That'd be annoying. Another DT moves into position here. Kills the missile turret. There should be scan energy available, but 4GG's got pretty greedy with his mules, so it looks like the DT should actually continue to be able to do damage, which is always nice to see. Scan goes down again. This DT... Actually, if he moves his DT right here, then he can prevent that from landing again. That's going to be huge. Anything he could... And that's exactly what he's doing. He's following it... Oh, is he going to actually make his way in here? Missile turret's about to go up, so I have a feeling that... Oh, if only he'd gone in a few seconds earlier, that planetary is going to kill that DT now. There's no way it's getting in there. Hero moving out. That's pretty dangerous. Still everything to play for in this game. Still everything to play for, but this push may be impossible to kill. I don't know. I don't think... There's so many Vikings, and there's not enough Blink Stalkers here, and the upgrade advantage is actually more equal now than it was. It's slightly in favor of Hero, unless you count the ship plating and vehicle plating. But Hero is going to have to defend this, and it's so hard to do. There's so many units on the field here for 4GG. Can he do it? If Hero can pull this off, it will be amazing. But it seems very doubtful that he can. Photon Overcharge deployed. Takes out a couple of gateways. That's actually cool for 4GG. That means that his opponent's reinforcements are going to be coming in much slower now. There are very few gateways available on the field here. If we look at structures, we will see there is grand total of 3. 3 gateways available versus 9 barracks, 2 starports, and a factory. Production-wise, I think you can see who's ahead here. 4GG is starting to roll in that regard, but his economy is heavily damaged. Oh, DT actually managed to make its way out of there as well. There is a missile turret, but it will die very quickly to a 3-3 DT. Oh, Hero's going to be so careful! Vikings coming in. Nice snipe again. Hero. He's pulling this back very, very, very slowly, but he loses a Colossus here. This engagement could be critical. I don't think there's enough to kill these Vikings. These Colossi are going to die very quickly. The upgrades are great on the Vikings as well, so they're difficult to kill off. The last Colossus is about to fall here. Can Hero somehow hold on? He is doing yet more economic damage. His opponent is down to 14 SCVs. If he can hold that third base and continue to destroy the economy of 4GG, he could survive, but he still has to deal with his army. And what's he got to do with it? 6 Stalkers and a DT? It's going to be so hard to do. He's not even got a Mothership Core. DT eliminated now 12 SCVs. Hero has killed 66. This is the clutchiest of clutch, but he still has to deal with this army. Am I overestimating the chances of him here? Maybe I am. Even though all this economic harassment is still happening, there's like 4 CCs that actually have the ability to do mule drops. So does it even matter? Stalker's being picked off in the center here. All of this is going to die. This is actually a lot of tech, so this is unfortunate. The Robo Bay going down is pretty critical. The Cybercore going down is pretty critical. More gateways being put into place here by Hero. Does he even have the opportunity to expand? It doesn't look like he does. There is another DT somewhere on the map. Let's go play Find the DT. Here it is. I love that new feature. It's fantastic. 17 SCVs to 37 probes, but a functional army for 4GG and nothing for the sort for Hero. Hero is literally holding on with 3 Stalkers right now. It's ridiculous. Another DT warped in. Immediately scanned and killed. And yeah, I mean, this is hurting 4GG, but I feel it's hurting Hero more. He is spending a lot of money to get these DTs out to waste scans. And there's the GG. It was a brave attempt by Hero, but let's be honest, that was not going to happen. It was an exciting finish, I gotta say, but 4GG just had too much. And there you go. And now, it's crunch time here for Liquid. They are down 4 maps to 1 against Millenium. 4GG and Daishi doing amazing work for the French team here. Who do they break out as their ace? We'll find out after the break. Don't go anywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for what could potentially be the final match unless one man can stop the rampage of 4GG? Who will it be? Let me show you. Yes, it is. They brought out Tasia again, folks, for another TBT here on Ohana. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the northwest of this particular map versus his opponent, Millenium's 4GG, who is on a tear right now. He is in the blue trunks. He is playing Terran to the southeast. Man, Tasia is up against it. 4GG is so good at this matchup, it's ridiculous. You saw, it was domination. It really was. 4GG tore Tasia to pieces the last time. So, we're going to have to see a bit of a change here in strategy, I feel, from Tasia. Terran players from Millenium doing work today. 2 kills for Daishi and potentially 3 here for 4GG. He's already got 2 up on the map already. So, we will see. Barracks coming down and looking to wall off here for 4GG. Let's see when the gas comes down. That will be indicative of a lot of things. Will Tasia attempt the same drop? More to the point, will it actually work this time? Who knows? Alright. Here goes Tasia on a bit of a... Wow, has he actually got CC first? You ballsy, ballsy bastard. CC first right here from Tasia. There we go. That's one way to get ahead. Oh, man, that was unfortunate. What the hell did he do there? I think he accidentally built the barracks there and cancelled it and then built the CC. That's actually unfortunate because he drained money doing that. That was a bit of a slip up there from Tasia. Unexpected. Uncharacteristic. 4GG is going to go scout it. Or is he? There we go. He sees it immediately. And he's immediately going to annoy him. And, I mean, why wouldn't you? It's Ohana. I mean, this is such a gutsy play, really. But I don't know if it's even going to work. Because it's going to be delayed by this annoying SCV. It's a 2-player map. So you'll usually not necessarily see that. But, hey, this time around, that's what we got. Gas on the field for 4GG here. He could follow up with something unpleasant. 4GG has successfully killed one SCV, but he hasn't killed the other one. He is in no position to do that. He's a little bit too badly damaged, but hey, he takes an SCV and he delays it. Tasia with the body block right there. Clotheslines him. Takes him out on the way back. Nice little maneuver. Now the question is, what does Tasia do from here? Well, he goes double barracks and starts to reinforce. So he's going to get that CC up. That's going to give him an edge. Pretty significant one. That CC's almost done as Millenium 4GG's finishes here. And 4GG's build order doesn't really put him in a position where he can actually hit his opponent. So I can firmly say at this point, considering that the factory has only just started to go down here, that Tasia is ahead and it is up to 4GG to do some damage. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's moving a couple of Marines in. He's rolled them up the ramp already. That might be a dead SCV there. And he's going to focus fire on those Marines as they come out. I was going to say, if Tasia actually loses right here, this would be the worst thing in history. But we will see how it goes. 4GG with great control so far. Tasia going in 2-on-1, which doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. I don't think 4GG is going to be able to do much economic damage here, but he is focusing fire on yet more SCVs. I mean, there's no way that this wasn't worth it. This was the most efficient 2-Marine attack in the history of Starcraft 2. So that puts Tasia behind, if you can believe that, because that's 5 workers killed. Unbelievable. This is about to finish. How did 4GG do that with 2 Marines? He's some kind of wizard, I've got to assume. Now he's rolling in with 4. Admittedly, there's... Again, no way should Tasia take damage from this. No way. I mean, there's going to be at least 5 Marines, maybe even 6 up by the time these Marines actually hit, and there's going to be a bunker building. No, it's not going to happen. 4GG is backing it up with Hellions. I wonder if 4GG holds back, gets his starport up, waits for a drop, just like has a soft contain here to deal with any kind of scouting or to scout any rollout, and then uses an elevation play to bring everything into the main base, bypassing this bunker and doing huge economic damage. It might happen. It very well might. 4GG is just scary. Sometimes he does that, though. It's like, hey, a bunker, hi! Oh, it's not mine. Alright. Here comes the Medevac and the Hellions. Elevation play is what I would expect as a follow-up here to do more damage to his opponent. That would put Millenium 4GG firmly ahead in terms of his economy. However, Tasia is already aware of that possibility and is moving his Marines into a position where they will be able to intercept that. Looks like they're going to head right in that direction. The Medevac's going to come to follow that one up, and this is nicely spread out. The drop is probably still going to happen unless Tasia can respond very, very quickly as it comes in, which is difficult to do with Medevac speed available. We will see. All right, here comes the speed. He's going to pass directly over 1 Marine, 2 Marines, and here comes the engagement. And this is going to get shut down very easily, I feel, by Tasia. Takes down the medevac. And while 4GG's Marines may very well be able to kill Tasia's Marines, there's not going to be much of them left in order to make that happen. And a Marauder comes out to be heroic and says, yeah, I can kill you really slowly. It's so good, bro. Slaps them down. Defended nicely. However, the Hellion run-by comes in. Only loses a single Hellion as he goes right for the main mineral line, the natural mineral line. In fact, down goes a Mule, and taking yet more damage here. This is nice. If he can stack these up, then that will be huge from 4GG. He's already ahead economically, I would feel, at this point. Can he get another shot off? Good control here by Tasia to avoid most of this damage. Now making his way into the main. Trying to do yet more damage. That Marauder doesn't have concussive shell, and it's very, very sad. Stops the building of the starport. Very nice move here. Tasia now needs to avoid taking yet more damage, but what can he do? His own SimCity is playing against him here. More damage being inflicted. Great shots coming off here by these Hellions. One final shot goes off, and that puts Tasia at 14 workers lost. 4GG is really terrifying. At this matchup, 4GG is ridiculous. Scary, scary. He's now adding Cloak Banshee into the mix. Gonna play a little bit of Hellion Banshee. He is now ahead economically. Moving his first Banshee in here. Cloak has just finished as well. Needless to say, there is no sign whatsoever. Oh, there's no scan energy, and there's no missile turret. This is gonna hurt so much. Missile turret coming down here, but this is just going to gut this mineral line without question. 4GG doesn't actually know, I feel, that there's no scan energy. If he did, he would be focusing on SCVs here. He's already doing so much damage to Tasia. And in comes another Hellion run-by right into that natural mineral line. That natural mineral line is toast. There's no question about that. 4GG is showing his dominance in this matchup. The missile turret is not going to finish either, which is even worse. A stim comes in from the Marauders, and there we go, finally finishes. That Banshee is getting out of there, though. 23 workers to 45. This is domination. 35 workers killed. 4GG is going to lose the Banshee, which kind of sucks, but he has got so far ahead through that attack. Now he just needs to build an army and kill Tasia and avoid taking any damage from Tasia. He's delayed the starport, he's delayed the medevac significantly. He darts in there with another Banshee. Now it comes down to Tasia. Tasia has got to do some huge damage with some drop harassment to get back into this game. He is getting destroyed right now. Now, will he be able to do it? 4GG has to make a mistake here, I feel. I mean, he's got 2 Banshees already prepared. He's got Hellions. Unless he decides to roll out right now and allow Tasia to kill his natural, there should be no situation where he actually gets shut down here. He even has a Viking to shut the medevac down. Tasia, pretty smart play here. Actually drops down. He's not going to find a third base. In fact, what's his plan here? This is... I'm actually wondering, but maybe he's expecting the rocks to be down and be able to run up there, but the rocks aren't down at all. So he doesn't spot anything. There's no third yet. Tasia can go up here, but he'll just get killed. So I don't really see the point. There's tanks moving out here as well. There's no situation where he does any damage here. 4GG pulls all of his SCVs. So I guess it's a win for Tasia, because that's a little bit of wasted mining time, right? Yep, I guess so. Hellion's now moving in. Nice pickup here by Tasia to save the Marines, and this will obviously be a pretty inefficient engagement here for 4GG. Tasia! Tasia saves it. Nicely done. The medevac boost, he actually gets out with everything, if you can believe that. That was a nice move, but he's still behind. I mean, consider the number of nice moves he's going to have to pull to get back into this. Let's say 5 or 6 more of those. If he does that and doesn't lose any units, then yeah, he's back on an even keel. But right now, he is playing from behind. That's fine. Tasia is used to doing that, and he's pretty damn good at it, too. He has the confidence to do it. The question is, against someone as good as 4GG, does he have the ability? Confidence is not everything, unfortunately, if you're up against an opponent this strong in this matchup. Raven on the way right now for 4GG. Adding on everything he could possibly need against a Marauder-heavy composition. Absolutely wonderful. Making sure that Cloak Ghosts, not that that ever really happens in this matchup, or Cloak Banshees don't become a factor. The Banshees are not being used here by 4GG to actually attack his opponent's base. Right now, he's up against missile turrets and things like that, so he seems to be playing a little bit more defensively. It seems like a big Hellion run-by might do damage. since Tasia's attempting to take a third base right now, this would be a good time for 4GG to actually do some damage here. There's a large force of bio here from Tasia that's looking to move down to try and deny this third. Really smart and very well timed. Really well timed. Tasia's game sense completely on the ball here. Unless, of course, he completely runs past it and goes up the natural ramp, which is what he's intending to do. Never mind. Maybe not. But he might have enough to actually... No, he doesn't. Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I hoped that Tasia would actually have timed that to go after the third base, but he ignored it completely, went straight for the natural and took a lot of damage. So that didn't work out well for him at all. And one of those Medivacs is going down as well. The Vikings are moving it to try and deny the rest of it, but the boost will prevent that from happening. 4GG is still way far ahead. He has a huge army right now. 22 Hellions, 5 Vikings, 7 Siege Tanks, and 2 Banshees playing mech. His upgrades are not that great. He's actually up against it when it comes to Tasia. Tasia has 1-1. Thor's coming into the mix for Tasia is building Thors. Okay. Fair enough. And here comes a big, big attempt at a Hellion run by. Down goes the front wall, but that is defended quite nicely. The Raven actually is nowhere to be seen. Apparently it never got built. Either that or it got sniped off, so that was unfortunate. Banshees now trying to blast their way through here, and Tasia is in a hard contained scenario. I would love to see 4GG peel off a few units and actually head in the direction of that third, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That contain was way too much. Tasia GG's, and 4GG accomplishes a fantastic run here for his team. Millenium's got to be happy about that. That's a 5-1 victory over Team Liquid. That, no one gets that most of the time. That's a very rare thing to do, but 4GG played that superbly. Excellent play across the board. I'm so impressed by him. I really, really am. Some people have said that, you know, he's not that great and that he's overrated. Not in TVT, I feel. He is so good here, and he picks up 3 wins for his team. And Daishi, who, again, breakthrough performance in WCS, also puts 2 on the board for his team as well. Don't mess with Millenium Terrans, man. Apparently that's a really bad idea. What a fantastic result there for Millenium, and 4GG has got to be super happy about that. Team Liquid, on the other hand, is left to lick their wounds, unfortunately. No one really able to make too much headway at all. Tasia, the only person able to put 1 on the board there, and then immediately taken out twice by 4GG in dominant fashion. Let's not... You can't understate just how one-sided that actually was for 4GG. I'm sorry, it was... He played brilliantly, and Tasia was making uncharacteristic mistakes and decisions that just didn't make a lot of sense, and his game sense just seemed to be off. And it happens every now and again. Again, I feel for the guy, I really do. He's still going through injury problems, but 4GG is clearly on fire right now. Excellent performance from him. Well done to Millenium. Congratulations. A big thanks to Acer and Intel for sponsoring the Acer Teamstory Cup. Now, I was supposed to be casting another match today. However, I have an announcement for you. This match has now been moved. Mouse Sports versus Caronte was supposed to happen today in actually about 2 hours. It's not going to happen due to illness. I believe this is due to a couple of their players actually coming down with something. It will be rescheduled to Sunday at 19:30 Central European Time. That, for those of you who do not know, is 1:30 in the afternoon EST. It is 6:30 in the British Isles. It is 10 o'clock in the morning on the west coast of the US. If you happen to be in Eastern European time, then you're looking at 8:30 in the evening for that. So that's going to be happening on Sunday. I think I'll cast this. I don't see why not. That'll be Caronte versus Mouse Sports, which should be a pretty good match. It's going to be EU versus EU in a big way, so I'm looking forward to seeing the EU Titans of this particular tournament clash. They are both doing really well. Thank you very much for watching, folks. As always, you've been a fantastic audience. If you missed any VODs today, they will be available on the YouTube channel over the next couple of days. Must once again apologize for the crash that we had earlier that caused me to have to cast one game from the restream there, which was not exactly an ideal position. I don't like to do that, as you're well aware. But hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. My name's been TotalBiscuit. This has been the Acer Teamstory Cup. I will see you Sunday. Goodbye.